we can run through scenarios. As far as scenarios, it's basically going to be like, okay, well, let's say the enemy team is running this comp and then they move into this position. What do we do? It's going to be that kind of thing. So we'll do like 2 or 3 scenarios per map to try and keep it to an hour, and then that's that.
Yeah.
All right. Let me go ahead and start the stream. I don't think anybody cared to hear any of that stuff anyway. Okay.
Leaks.
Yep. All right. Which map do I want to be on? Okay. Cool. So we're going to start with City Center first, right? Right here. So for City Center, what I started with was pretty much a cookie cutter. It's essentially dive, right? So why do we want to, and when I say dive, I'm talking tanks. Don't worry about the rest of it. Just think tanks. When I say dive, think tanks. So the reason why we're going to run dive here is because there's a shit ton of high ground that gives us a shit ton of benefit. Okay. So those dive tanks for right now will just be Winston D.Va. Those are traditional dive tanks. You could throw a Hammond in there, but that'll overcomplicate it. For right now, while we're learning how to communicate, it's going to be Winston D.Va. Now, off of Winston D.Va, we have options. So the options are to do a Sombra Pharah or to do a Tracer Pharah. The reason why I decided to go Pharah is because Pharah is really strong here. And Herbs is really good at Pharah. I'm good at Pharah. Mad's good at Pharah. So Pharah is a strength for our team. And then the Sombra and the Tracer, I think me and Herbs can do either one of those. I don't know if I don't know how Mad feels about it since he's not here. I can't ask him.
He's more projectile anyway.
Right.
That is,
he beat the one far.
I don't know if Mad wants to play any hit scan, but you guys know I can.
Yeah, I mean he's the projectile.
Yeah. So the idea with that was we have, no matter which comp you go with, we have 1 projectile, 1 hit scan. Okay.
Right.
So to tabletop it, it's essentially the same idea, but you're going to either have a hack that you're going to initiate on, or you're going to have somebody get low that you're going to initiate on. That's the only difference. So I'm going to throw it out to Weege. Which one do you want me to go over, man? You want me to go over a Sombra strat or a Tracer strat?
Well, which one are we more likely to use?
I think we should go over the
Sounds
Sombra.
like Sombra.
Because
Yeah,
Sombra?
I think Sombra seems like something that's been working for us. So I think that's
Sombra's
at this elo, it's definitely
Okay.
really at any
Sombra's
elo.
broken, so we just need to
Yeah.
All right, so here's our stuff. So essentially what we're going to do, we're going to come out of spawn, and we're going to take high ground. Okay, so Monkey moving through, jumps up high ground. D.Va moving through, boost up high ground, right?
Right.
At this point, you're going to have, as soon as we come out of spawn, you're going to have Pharmacy over this wall, right? This wall right here. You're going to boost over. You should be shooting towards their spawn, okay? So that's pretty self-explanatory. I think what the Sombra and the Zen are going to do is Zen's going to have to cut through this back room, head to elevator. Sombra is going to escort him there and hack this Mega behind. Okay? So as we start that off, all right, tanks are taking high ground. The tanks will be the callers because Sombra's not going to be able to go up there and call. Okay? You could even have, now that I think about it, Sombra's going to get here about the same time and or sooner than the tanks. So Sombra hacks the pack. Zen will come around. Space has already been created, right? With the tanks being up here. So if Zen sees anything, if Zen gets jumped on, D.Va peels back for Zen. Easy. Okay? Once Zen is in position on high ground, then we have the Pharmacy who can be here, shooting down into them. You can have Pharmacy here, shooting down into them, either direction. Or you can have Pharmacy here. The point is the Pharmacy needs to be behind cover or capable of getting the cover as soon as you let go of spacebar. So you should be peeking cover, right? So your head should barely be above it. Your gun should barely be above it. You're poking, and if somebody gets a sight on you, you literally let go of space and you're behind cover and you're safe. So if you die, it's a lucky shot, and that's it. But it needs to be a cover play at all times. So with that positioning, as far as us starting, basically Sombra throws Translocator on a health pack, moves around, and now we're in position to start a poke dive. So not a dive. I alluded to this to Weege and Vitamin earlier, but there's two types of dive. So you have dive where you just jump in, you dive a target, and you burn that one target down. That's generally something you're capable of doing against a dive v dive type composition. For instance, if the enemy team is running a ground-based brawly type composition and you do that, you're going to die. Okay, so that's when you enter into a dive poke type style of play. Okay, now what is dive poke style of play? So basically what would happen, I'm just going to throw 2 tanks on here. So let's get a Reinhardt. Let's get a Zarya. Okay, you guys can pretend whatever's behind this, it doesn't matter. But let's say this is their front line. Okay, so they push on the point. All right, what we don't want to do is say there's a target behind them, 3, 2, 1, we're going to dive, and we dive it. Okay, we don't want to do that. What we want to do is have Winston, D.Va, basically in a position that they can take poke angles. D.Va shooting here, micro missiles, or shotgun. Winston here with his Tesla cannon, right?
Yeah,
we're poking. Yep, we're poking. Okay, we're in a position. We're in a position. We're not over here on Monkey. You know, we're where the healers can help us. We're in a position where Zen can discord. Okay, but we're poking, and what we're doing is we're waiting for Pharah and Mercy to hit something and get it low. We're waiting for Sombra to be in a position to hack something that we can then focus, but we're waiting. We're not initiating, we're waiting, right? By the time we get to this, we're going to, have 10, 15 seconds before the point unlocks anyway. So there's no urgency there. We're setting up and we're being patient so that we can then pick good targets and snowball them from there, okay?
Right.
So
we can fight them to begin with, we have the point.
Exactly. So that's the idea of the initiation for this map, is that we'll set up and we'll do a dive poke. Okay? Poke somebody down to their half health, poke somebody down until Farah says, hey, such and such is like 1 hit, you know? And then we dive. Now let's talk about the dive. So if we get into a position where we're going to dive, let's say, let me just grab somebody. Anna. Let's say Anna's there. We poke Anna down and she's low, okay? And she moves with her team. She moves to her team. In the setup we have right now, who should engage? Let's say Anna's half health. Who should engage?
Winston.
Well, if you're in the current position, I would say
Or
Winston.
Sombra. Is Sombra
I mean,
still
we
here?
would still be wanting the Pharah to be hitting them regardless of where.
Yeah, but
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Let's say Farah's there and Farah's...
I think he means like who's.
You mean the
actually
direct
engage
dive?
them.
Yeah, who is going to collapse onto Anna and finish her off? She's at half health.
I would think it'd be
Winston can
Winston.
just walk
because
onto
even
her
defense
and then
is
jump back
good.
up.
Yeah. So yeah, don't use cooldowns to engage, but use them to disengage.
Yeah, and D.Va can
Winston
eat
fall
a nade
down
if she tries
and
to
then
heal
jump out
herself.
if needed.
Smart. Yep, that's exactly what I would say. Based
And then
on
if
the
needed.
based on the positioning that they're in, right? Based on the position that we have set up. Winston is closest. Winston can literally drop down, attack. Sombra can hit, and you can get Farah. Maybe you get a cheeky one and it accidentally hits her or something from long range, whatever, right? But the point is, you're putting pressure on her,
There's options.
and you're putting pressure on her, and you finish her off. Now, once that finishes, okay, that's when the target call is going to have to be made on who's the next target, and that next target needs to not be a tank. Generally, we have a really, really bad habit of just calling the tank because they're big and they're in our face. When you've got a squishy that's off to the side, that's half health or out of cooldowns, and we don't call that because we're not looking for that. So what we're looking for, okay, and this would be, maybe it's a Winston, maybe it's a Sombra, or maybe it's the D.Va that sees somebody back here, or maybe it's the D.Va that sees somebody right down here that they've been poking, or something like that. So look for the target of opportunity. That's the next step in this, is we look for the target of opportunity, not just call a target because we need to call a target and we all need to be shooting at the same thing. Okay? So I want us to progress to a stage where we're not just calling targets, because we know if we don't, Weed, your vitamin's going to say, or Cat, like, where are we shooting at? What's the next target?
Right.
We need to pick a target because they're going to die, and we're going to be able to commit to that and follow through with it, right?
Right.
So let's say we engage on this. Anna dies. Winston goes back to high ground. Sombra goes back. She's dead. We finish off their team. Okay? So now what we need to do is we need to be aggressive, which is another thing that we don't do well. So to be aggressive, we need to push them, right? We need to push forward and physically make them work for every foot of ground they take, okay? We don't want to go back to high ground and wait for them to come to the point and contest. We want to contest them before they get to the point, okay? So we set up Zen maybe here on the corner. He can discord here. We've got pharmacy over here. You guys know this is the rooftop. You can shoot over it.
Right.
Yeah.
You guys will basically be here above the rooftop shooting down. And we've got our tanks who, again, are poking. You're not hard engaging. You're not saying, oh, the Ana in the back is half health. Boom, let's jump on them. That's not your job here. Your job is to poke, be a distraction, be a nuisance, be something for them to want to be aggressive on. And if they get aggressive on you, you peel back. All right. What you're waiting for is the Sombra to come in the back. Okay, and the Farah to get a good hit that then the Sombra can finish up on, or the Sombra to hack something that then the pharmacy can jump on, and maybe you're in a position to push forward and take advantage of if we can snowball it.
Yeah, because
but it's not to initiate.
If we get it to this point, then Farah is probably pretty well charged. So
yes. So it is not to initiate. I want to make sure that that's clear, because we have a bad habit of doing that where the tanks will go in and we'll try and dive something. The thing doesn't die because they throw resources into it, and then we're in this big brawl and we die, right? So the tank position and objective here is to poke and to get them to pull towards you, and then hopefully widen their line so that then the Sombra and the Farah can do work on the back line.
You can do anything that helps you get your ults faster too.
Yes. Now, if they push in, if we know that, hey, they have Grav, they're probably going to use Grav, whatever the case may be, well, then you guys kind of want to play a little different, right? So maybe Diva plays off Defense Matrix. When Diva doesn't have Defense Matrix, she peels behind corner. Maybe Monkey pokes, goes back behind corner, pokes, goes back behind corner, throws shield down, pokes, goes behind corner, whatever the case may be. That stuff's going to have to be done on the fly, and that's not something we can really tabletop here. But for the general idea of being aggressive, we want to be in their face, tanks poking, DPS doing their jobs, trying to whittle something down or get something low, and then we call it, and then it's dead. Now, once, let's say the Ana's back here, let's say Farah gets a pop on her, a boosted pop is 175, I think, something like that. It's more than 150. I know that for a fact. It might be 150, but let's just say it's going to get her low. Sombra finishes her off. She's now off the board. Is it okay time to dive? If you know that they don't have any cooldowns coming up, like ultimates that we have to worry about, absolutely. We dive in, we clean it up, right? If we know that they're going to have ultimates that we're going to use or that they're going to use against us, that's when we have to have that discussion and be like, okay, how are we going to respond to that? Maybe we only send Diva in, so maybe she can catch the Grav and Defense Matrix. We leave Monkey out because Monkey has ult, and if we start getting rolled a little bit, he can pop ult and push back to stabilize the front line. Maybe we do that, right? So that's the kind of thing that's going to have to happen in the lull between the fight, all right? But just so everybody's on board, everybody has a clear picture now of what the aggressive stance for this dive poke is. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Where does the Zen stay in this situation? Do they go
High
to
ground.
point?
I could see
He needs to stay. No, he needs
They
to
stay
stay
high ground.
Okay.
Here's the
sight line.
Here's the thing with Overwatch and like high level Overwatch, right? So right now, what we have created here, if I leave this the way it is, like pretend the pharmacy's above the building, right? Sombra's.
Right.
Actually, let's do this. Let's pull Sombra back here. This will make it a little bit easier to see. So the thing in Overwatch is this, all right? I'm just going to draw a line straight over. This is territory, this is space that we've claimed, right? So for them to get to this space, they have to commit resources to it. We all know that, right? So we don't want to, in the event that they push in and we have to fall back, we don't want to give up this high ground because that's our high ground. That's where we're going to retreat back to. That's where the tanks are going to go back to. That's where the pharmacy is going to restage. And that's where Sombra's health pack is this side of the map.
Can't leave.
Yes.
Because he has no way to get
Zen,
back up.
yeah, Zen, I mean, you got the jump pad, but whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to go all the way back for that.
Yeah, Zen is here strictly to Discord and primary fire anybody or left click or right click anybody that he can see. If he can't see anybody, I highly suggest you do not leave the high ground. What you could do is you could come back here and you could set up. The only way I would say leave this high ground is if you set up at this door and you're shooting through here, because they're not going to be able to dive you fast enough for you to hit high ground or to hit the pad and get back high ground by the time the tanks are getting back to peel for you.
Yeah,
but other than that,
yeah, if they're staying far back, that would probably be a good idea to go down to that door.
Because that position has those three critical things for a Zen. It has a route of escape, which is back and then up the elevator. It has route to a health pack, which is the one right there with the translocator, and it has cover. So those are the three things that you need.
I think it'll really depend on ult too, because like where he's at right now, if he wasn't able to build a lot of ult charge off the last fight, he needs to be shooting the tanks that are going to be pushing in through there.
I agree. What I want to address though is, other than pulling back here, okay, which would be an okay position to do. Again, you're on this side of the door, not this side, not up here, not at this corner. You are right here.
Right.
Other than that, you will not be off the high ground, and you will not do this. This is a no-no. You do not drop point at all.
If we're getting like attacked.
What do you mean? Like if you're on Zen and you're getting attacked up here?
Yeah.
Well, it would take a lot to get back. I was gonna say they'd take a lot.
You've got to peel
out there.
Yeah, like literally, if you're getting attacked, Diva is responsible for peeling back for you. Depending on where Pharmacy is staged, she can turn around and concussion them off. She can shoot them. Sombra can translocate back, come up high ground, shoot, hack, whatever. You're going to be protected as long as you call it out early enough, and you make the space, right? If somebody's diving, you don't stand there. Try and back away from them.
Yeah.
But just don't panic and be like, somebody's diving me, jump down. Don't do that.
You're not super easy to dive up there until they actually get into the space.
They would have to commit so many resources to dive you that it's unreal. And truthfully, the only way they're going to dive you is on a really, really, really wide flank, like all the way around here. Yeah. Right? Which is the other thing with Zen is that, you're putting discords, but your head should be on a swivel. You should be looking. You should be listening. Right? So that goes more into like Zen, how to play Zen. You guys know how to play Zen, so I'm not going to touch on it. But if they push through, that's the idea. You're going to peel back and cover the Zen.
Well, yeah, because you guys are the eyes of that space, but Zen's going to be the eye of that point.
Right.
The routes around it.
Right. And I mean, Farah will probably be the best one to peel back for you because she's going to have direct line of sight on it. And Farah is never going to be like out here. Not unless you're going to drop down and... Yeah, not unless you're going to drop down behind them and ult. You'll never be out here. You'll always be here or back here. So,
but she can easily
that won't be a concern.
I'm kind of concerned about the healing in this situation. So, like, if we're poking, we're going to take some damage here because they've got a shield. Their DPS can stand behind it. We really don't have a shield.
But you got the bubble. But the other thing too is you're going to be taking poke damage, and you're only going to be.
No, it kicked me out.
You're only going to be putting one tank in there at a time. So when the other tank pulls away, they get a harmony orb.
This sucks, dude. I had this thing set up on Spectator, and it kicked me out.
Also, like, what if they're just stacking against a wall and we can't poke them? Or they just pull back a little bit and we can't poke them?
Well, but
it doesn't matter. You're still, to do that. Yeah, you're still buying
They still have to go in eventually.
Percentage.
So the way them space and Weege can always just drop from me and heal the top off the tanks.
Yeah, and I can just start healing on the ground and then hop back up.
And realistically, they're only going to group up like that.
1%.
Yeah, you guys see what I'm writing?
Yeah, 1%.
It's 1.2 seconds. I should probably put a point, not that, but
1 minute.
one
1 minute.
This match will last forever.
Yeah, 1.2 seconds for 1%. Okay, so
that's what this mode's about.
Any time that you are stalling them out is percentage gained.
Yeah,
that's winning.
The percentage will force them into us.
Yeah, so let's say you're sitting here and they're like, fuck this shit, right? And they're like, I'm just gonna go around the back, right? Well, Sombra's gonna tell you, hey, they're repositioning. Okay, at that point, you're not gonna do this. Okay. Well, hold on, I take it back. You can do this. You're not gonna do this. Okay.
Yeah, no, don't go out.
Yeah, you can stay here because you are still in line of sight of your Zen,
right? And
Pharmacy can reposition easily, right? If they do route this way, you do the same thing. Once they push in, Pharmacy peels back. You probably want a concussion back and try and get back here. The tanks would then peel back here, and then by the time they push in, you'll have cooldowns. You can go to high ground. You can do whatever you want to do. But you're going to basically peel back into the default configuration, which is we control the jump pad and the high ground. We poke, we wait for opportunity, we be patient, and then we capitalize on it.
Yeah, well, that's the beautiful thing about the fact that this map's a circle is because where you had to set up trying to poke them in, you can do that at any of these entrances.
Mm-hmm.
You have line of sight at all these entrances.
It's just going to be communication. That's all it is it's going to be communication. And the good thing with the Sombra is you should always know what's going on with the enemy team.
And Farah, Sombra and Farah can both scout pretty well. Because Farah's going to be up in the air. She can see if they're going the other way.
So that's about all, from a basic standpoint, that's about all I wanted to go over for this. For this specific map for City Center. Does anybody have any questions?
There was, I think Quest had a question about when we first set up about having Winston on that middle.
Oh, that wasn't a question. That was just kind of a point of there wouldn't be any reason for me to set up on the high ground left if I can just set up on the center, if that's where I'm stationing the die from anyways.
So I want you to think dimensionally here, okay? Not linear. I want you to think dimensionally, right? So let's say this happens. We push in, all right? They're poking. Diva comes in, sets up high ground. Zen's making his way around. Enemy team pops out here. Are you going to be more good here in the center, or are you going to be more good here?
Well, I'm going to have to use the resource either way.
Right, but if you jump up here, you now have to wait for that resource to jump up here, or you could jump up here and be in a position anyway.
I still have to use the resource to go to the center. Trying to poke
if you're already up there, though, you don't have to jump.
And plus,
I can't poke from that high ground.
No. What I'm saying is, if you're on, say, where the C is, you're on that middle area, and you jumped up there, and then now they're coming in on there. You've got to wait to use. You got to use jump again to get across, which is where you'll have to go.
What do you mean?
Because they're not going to stay there; they're going to come up.
Right. So if they're pushing our left, which would be their right, if they're pushing here, right, because they want to take high ground.
Yeah, they're going up.
Pushing here
and kills them.
If by default Diva comes up here, okay, she has no boosters. You come up, you jump here. Mm-hmm. Now they're still pushing around.
Okay, then they're going to go up high ground.
But you're going to have to wait to jump to high ground, where you could already be up here prepping with the team. So it's better for you to be on the high ground initially and then respond.
And then even if you already have your jump again, you've got to use it to get onto the high ground from over there. Which means you won't have it.
It's the same thing for the other way around.
It is. You're right. Resource-wise, it's going to take 2 jumps, depending on which way they go. However, if you're here, you're already set up with the team, as opposed to away from the team. Does that make sense?
I mean, because your tanks need
a. Okay, but so by the time I can get to being on C, and the time that it'll take them to get around to try and jump pad up to the rest of our team, I'll have that resource.
But then you'll use it to get over there, is what I meant.
What's the point of using it?
So then when would I ever set up on the center?
if they're coming onto point.
Right. So let's say
but then I have to use the resource, and that resource.
Hold on. Let's say they come through here, and they're here, and Diva and you are here, and you guys are poking. You drop down at max.
I can't poke from there.
Yeah, listen to me. You drop down at max range for your Tesla cannon. You poke, and as soon as they get aggressive, then you use your resource and get on C.
Okay, but why wouldn't I be on C? Because I can poke from C. I can't poke from the left.
Yeah, but if they don't go into the,
I feel like this is going in a circle, man.
Well, if they don't go and if they don't take the main route to point, then.
So I think Quest something that we're trying to get across is if you're set up on where the Diva is, you are able to move,
respond to either situation,
or right,
because you don't know which way they're going to go.
Where the danger comes from. If you're on C, you're more able to attack something that's coming from main, but you're less able to assist something that's coming on that left side. So what we're saying is that it gives you more flexibility if you're there where you are right here on the diagram, as opposed to being on C. It gives you more flexibility to be able to adapt and to counter dive something that's coming in on the left side.
You won't have a disadvantage no matter which way they come in. Although you may have more of an advantage if they come through main path and you're already on C, you'll have a disadvantage if they don't.
Not even because let's say if they pull through, if they push through here and they wrap around, he drops off, poke, jump back up, right? If they pull through here, we already went over that. Drop, poke on C, right? But if you start on C and they
that's what I'm saying. Then you have a disadvantage if they go that way.
You have no way to drop them.
Yes. Okay, I was operating from the assumption that we were working primarily for my ability to poke, and I can't poke.
Well, we need to know which way they're going to go first, though.
Yeah, so what we want to do is, remember, this is the initial setup. This is us wanting to take those positions, see which way they're coming, and then that will dictate, how we operate. They're coming main, we go that way. If they're coming on the left side, we go that way. So what we want to, this is us setting up the preliminary setup, and then we go, and then we attack them. And then
we go back to that map. How do we react then if they come left?
If they come our left or their left?
Yeah, because you described
if they come to the jump pad.
This composition to be able to poke.
It's the same idea. So if enemy team is here pushing around, and we're set up high ground, right? So Diva and Zen are going to stay here, right? Diva and Zen are going to stay here, okay? So Diva's going to be poking this way towards the enemy. Zen's poking and discording towards the enemy, okay? This health pack is hacked, so they don't have that resource, okay? We've got Farah and Mercy that are literally going to be right here
as soon as we see them.
This jump pad has a highness to it, so they can use it as cover, right? So if the enemy swings around and lands right here, okay, they're going to be surrounded, okay? And in the event they overwhelm us, we have the mobility to pull back. We have the ability to drop point.
Correct.
And then if they drop point, we win the ground war, or we rotate around and we push back and we fight on this side, right? That way we can have Pharmacy right here. We can have Diva up here. All we have to do is have the Zen rotate around, and we're back to our default.
Right, because if they're going to go that way, they obviously don't have mobility because they're having to use the jump pad to get up.
Yes, but I don't know how I'm functioning in this.
You're functioning.
For the dive?
Like I told you, you are poking. You are waiting for your DPS to tell you.
I cannot poke from this area.
Yes, you can.
Does not go that far.
Yes, you can.
Well, you can't do it from the high ground. You'll have to come.
No,
that's engagement. That's not poke. That's engaging.
No, it is poke. It is poke. If you
then I don't have the resource for us to dive.
Oh.
If I have to engage on them.
Okay, so let me run a scenario for you. All right, I'm just going to put a Reinhardt down here, and I'm just going to put a Winston. Okay, you're the Winston. There's the Reinhardt. Okay, so let's say Reinhardt represents the entire team to include the backline. Okay. All you have to do is drop. That costs you no resources. You held W to do that. Okay? You get to max range of your Tesla cannon. I give 2 fucks who you hit. You just hit somebody with your Tesla cannon.
You're putting damage on them. Yeah.
All you're doing is poking them. That is what poking means. It's just doing some damage, and then as soon as they look at you, you stop doing that damage. Or as soon as they chase you, you leave. Right?
Poke is about doing damage from a safe position.
What if they have a
it is safe.
McCree or something?
Well, if you're already at max
safe
range,
position, I don't have to use resources to get out. Like I can't. This is not a safe position. I have to use resources. To
well,
get out.
where would be a safe position if they go that way, though?
On the high ground, I just can't poke from there.
Okay, so if we have you pick a high ground, whatever high ground you want, pick a high ground.
What?
I just want you to pick a high ground. You pick whatever high ground you think is best. Pick a high ground.
I think he's just saying he doesn't want to have to drop down to poke.
No.
Well, here's the thing. You can't have them come up here and just sit here for 15 seconds and do nothing. You can't do that.
So then I should engage.
Okay, so if you engage, what's the difference between you dropping down and poking and engaging? What's the difference?
Because I'm not in a safe position and I have to use resources to get out of it, which means we have to wait for my resources to dive.
Okay, so we'll work off your terminology. Here's the Reinhardt, here's the enemy team. How would you like to engage and from where would you like to engage from?
Where would I like to engage from?
Mm-hmm.
I would be waiting for them to make... If they're right there, I have no reason to engage them at this point.
Yeah, but you can't be so reactionary.
So what are you doing?
You're letting them lead you're letting them lead it.
Okay, but we have all the positional strength.
Okay, well, if that's the case, they come up here, and then what do? How are you going to engage? They're up on the high ground now. How are you going to engage?
I walk up on them and press M1. You said it yourself. We have all the angles on.
Okay, so then they start pushing you. They're pushing you. They're pushing you. They're pushing you. What are you going to do?
Meanwhile, and something else that I'd like to point out, if that Rhine is there, our Zen's probably dead.
Yeah.
And that's going to, throw off a lot of things. So what we're saying, Quest, is that if we're able to drop down the Winston and do poke damage while our pharmacy is shelling them, we could maybe get them to turn back. We could split one off. We could get a pick, things like that. And then if they try to focus you, you jump out. It's almost like King's Row, D.Va dropping down, getting some fire, and then getting out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing is, speak on this.
Go ahead.
Have a Brigitte, a McCree, a Doomfist, something like you're not going to be able to react quick enough to jump out of that.
That's not true.
I mean, maybe Quest.
If you're at your max range,
if Quest
can do anything.
True.
No. Here's the thing, okay? Again, I think we're thinking too linear. We're not thinking dimensionally, okay? I'm not telling you that you are not, like, your hands are tied behind you. You can't use shield. You can't use jump. I'm not telling you how to play Winston. It should be obvious. If you drop down and there's a fucking McCree in your face, drop your shield. Dance around it. Poke them, right? If they hard engage on you, if they hard engage on you, get back to the high ground. Like, that should be obvious. Yeah. I'm telling you, use your resources smart, okay? Based on the way that we're trying to play the strat, right?
I was just scared that like Quest drops, gets immediately stunned by Brigitte.
Well, they're not going to peel that much off. I mean,
I think something else that we can do, guys, is we'll have the Sombra scouting. We'll know if they have a Brigitte, and that will dictate how deep, or how long Quest stays down there before he jumps.
Right.
Say, okay, they've got a Brigitte, so we be careful about that so you don't get stunned and focused down and burned. So I think having the Sombra there scouting and letting us know what's coming, we'll be able to make those decisions. You know what I mean? We'll be able to adapt. Okay, there's no, there's no Brigitte, or there's no McCree, or there is, and then we can make, that will dictate how we approach the situation.
Yeah, ideally, this Reinhardt will never be here. Can anybody tell me why this Reinhardt hits jump pad, jumps up here? Why should he not be here? 10 seconds. Why should he not be here?
Because of something we're going to do, or just why he should?
Because of something we're going to do. Here,
so
let me...
Well, if we're going to try to take the point, or we're going to try to dive a soft target, he's going to murder our Zen.
Let me, hold on. Let me, if I can find it. It's like,
a right click only does so much.
Here we go.
Yeah, because he's just going to get concussed off.
Boom. Done. Right? They no
you,
longer have a front line in their front line. Okay.
And see, that same logic is also what could help Quest not get just murdered.
Yes.
What if they're smart enough to wait for that conk, come up, and then attack?
Well, here's the thing. We can definitely do what ifs for hours, right? Because we don't know what comp they have. We don't know how good they are. We don't know how coordinated they are. What we're prepping is a general strategy, a general broad umbrella strategy, right? Which is we're going to take this high ground. We're going to poke until we have an opportunity. We're going to capitalize on that opportunity. We're going to snowball that opportunity. We're going to capture the point. We're going to be aggressive and push, and we're going to stall them as much as we can. And then when we need to fall back, we fall back to default.
Yeah, I mean, everything will change based on scouting information too.
Yes.
Yeah,
like say they come out and you see that they have the CC death comp, just all the CC in the world. Then yeah, it may not be good just to have anyone engage on them then.
So something else to remember, guys, is that this is the first iteration of this plan.
We'll be going through this.
This is something that's going to be refined. This is something that's going to be adjusted. We're going to test this out. That's what our scrims are going to be for, is testing these strategies. What works, what doesn't, and we make refinements and changes based on that. This isn't anything that's set in stone. What we want to do is we want to come up with general strategies where everybody knows their role and everybody knows what we're doing from beat to beat, so that we have that overall strategy for how to go about the map. And as we play it, and as we get more experience with it, we figure out, okay, it's better if we move this here. It's better if we attack this then. And that's what's just going to come from playing it, guys. But what we're doing right now is just getting that general foundation built so we can build on top of that.
Yeah, because what we do right now when we do this map is we come in, tanks come in either this way or this way, take high ground. Maybe we take high ground. But as soon as we see something, we call it, we dive it, and then we either win the team fight in a brawl, which is not what dive is designed to do, or we get wrecked, they take the point, and then we're just forever trying to run that same strategy, and it's not working.
Well, and we need to be doing more poke. That's something we don't do enough of, and we do need to do it, because that makes it where we don't charge tank ultimates as fast as we should be.
And it's just disruptive.
It's just not causing them to make decisions.
Now to build a
target, they have a decision. Kill you. They don't need any other things, but when you do poke, you're making them make decisions. Okay.
Yes, at the very least you are costing them resource, right? Because if an Ana
to back up.
If they're pushing around to jump pad and they have a fucking Ana, who can sleep you? Okay? Who can sleep you? If you drop off, you pop your shield and you start poking the Ana and she panics and uses her sleep dart. You just cost them a resource. She's now an easy dive target.
You just gave us an advantage.
If we're hitting their front line with Pharah, okay? If we're hitting their front line with Pharah and Diva's poking into the front line or whatever the case is, Zen's got a Discord on him, you drop down and now you're poking the Ana and she turns around to even look at you. You have now cost them resources because she's not healing somebody.
Right. It's all about making them make choices. If we have to make the choices, we can pick a better target.
Yes, you have to think dimensionally. If you think linear, it's gonna lose you games.
Look at every pro match. The tanks are just dancing around each other. They're just dancing around, trying to put poke damage on each other.
Now, with that said, that's a perfect thing to segue into. With that said, I'm not pulling this stuff out of my ass. Okay, this is coming from actual Overwatch League.
I mean, they do.
Maps, actual Overwatch League. No. What I'm saying, what I'm telling you, the things I've told you so far. Poke dive, where we're going to set up, how we're going to respond, blah, 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 why we're taking the high ground. That's not my words. That's coming from Overwatch League coaches. That's coming from Overwatch League scrims, things like that, okay? So if you guys have no confidence in what I'm saying, I would be more than happy to link that stuff to you, and you can watch it yourself and hear it from people with better resumes than mine. But it doesn't change the fact that it's the same information that I'm delivering. So
I understand.
That's that. I want to move on from this map unless we have a serious issue with it, because we're 40 minutes.
We spent way too much long on this map.
My only question is, how do we regain that if they have that high ground?
If they take it first?
Yeah.
Yeah, if they take it first and they take the high ground on it.
I think the biggest thing.
So, like, if they were doing the same thing we were doing.
Yeah.
If they take it first, what I would suggest is force them to fight us right there.
Yeah, force them onto the ground.
Okay.
Break their legs.
Basically make them make a decision. Do they want to give up percentage, or do they want to commit resources to the point? If they commit resources to the point, right? Like, let's say they do what we did and they keep people on high ground. If they commit resources to the point, now it's 4v6.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. if you're smart and you play out of line of sight from the guys that they don't have on the point, you should have the advantage and you should be able to get a pick, especially with a Sombra that's running around with immunity.
Right. In other words, we try to make the high ground work.
Yeah, you have to play smart, right? Yeah. Now, if they do that to us, again, we go back and forth with conversation. But this right now is how to set up, how to engage on the first fight. Once we master that, then we can talk about other things.
We can plan as much as we want, but until we play it, we're not going to find stuff.
Right.
Okay.
So let's move on to second point. So second point, the good thing about spending that long there is basically it's the same comp. You're either going to run the same comp, or you're going to run the same comp but with a tracer instead of a Sombra. So the idea here is generally the same. Okay, you're going to push out a spawn. Sombra's going to take this health pack. Okay. Which is Pharmacy is going to be, I think this is the wall. So this would be the building top right here. So, Far would be shooting this way, right? But if Far is in the right spot, you also have line of sight this way.
Not to mention to the left side for potential flanks.
Yep.
Right.
So, again, sight lines and positioning, right? So that's more or less common sense at this point. For the tanks. So the tanks, again, you guys are maneuvering into a poke situation. I would have Zen probably stay right about here until we decide to move to point. Right. So if we're pushing up, let's say the tanks decide to push up Zen here. Or maybe you could do here and peel back to health pack, but you're going to need Diva to peel back for you as well.
I usually generally try to stay a little further back because it's when they're all coming in that way, it's really easy to go charge right clicks and let them go. Just pull away from the wall a little bit and just let them go, and people moving in can get hit by them. So it's better. Yeah, right there. That's a good place to be.
Yep. So Sombra's going to be doing Sombra things in the back line. Pharmacy is going to be doing pharmacy things towards them, right? So that is that's the poke phase, right? When we decide to take position, like let's say two Sombras here. That's weird.
There's two Sombras.
Sombra hacked my map review.
Trickery.
So some teams, they will push in from the side. So if they start to push in from the side, then that's easy. We take high ground, right? Zen is now going to be at a disadvantageous spot. But if Zen stays here, okay, they then have to commit all of this to get to him.
And then we can pincer them too.
And then we peel back and we're good to go, right? The thing, one of the best things with Koth maps, I'm on the wrong phone. One of the best thing with King of the Hill maps, right? So control point is to basically force them. I'm just going to put a Rhine. Give me a healer, Brig, whatever. So if they push in here, okay, one of the best things we can do is take the space around them, take the sight lines on them, okay, and force them into basically this type of pattern where we control all of that ground. They control this. Right? So that's the best case scenario, because then you have them on a flank, you have them on multiple sight lines, okay, and you have the high ground. Okay? Now, again, a lot of the things we just mentioned earlier on the last map apply here. You want to kind of poke, you want to give your DPS time to get some damage on them, to set up for a play. You want to do that because in this comp, you would not want to jump into them, right? A Ryan and a Brig, that would fucking suck. So you would not want to do that. Okay? So again, it goes back to poking, setting up for a play, giving your DPS time to do their job. This point is an opening for 25 seconds or whatever the hell it is.
Right.
So there's no reason to be overly aggressive and foolishly aggressive. All you need to do is be patient, give your DPS time to do their job, and then capitalize on the mistake that the enemy team makes. Right? That's all we have to do. So again, we can talk to lengths about where you should be at for this and this and this. But if you just take the ideas we've just talked about and translate them over to what you already know as a tank, a healer, a DPS player, and what we've already discussed with this comp and how it plays, then it should be obvious what we should do. You win the first team fight, Zen goes to high ground, we're covering Zen, we're looking for pokes, Sombra is scouting for where they're coming in at. Once we know where they're coming in at, we're setting up the tank line to poke, we're setting up Pharah to basically hit them, either their back line or whatever we call out. We're setting up Sombra in the back or on an off flank to hack or, pull attention, pull resources. That's basically the whole idea of this composition. All the meantime, Zen's basically pretending to be a DPS and he's Discord and shit. Maybe he throws a maybe he throws a harmony orb on Winston or Diva, right? Mm-hmm. There's a lot, hours and hours of discussion we could have about one team fight that could happen with one enemy team comp right here on this map, right?
It'd be better just to play it and experience it firsthand.
Yeah, I mean, here. So I'm glad you said that because yes, you can.
Okay, thank God I hate Zenyatta on this map.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
However, I mean, I don't know. You know how to play Zen, or you know how to play Lucio, so I'm not going to go over how to play him.
Yeah, he can be really helpful, but he's also so easy to kill. On this
I always get one clipped on this map by tracers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's really easy to kill on this map.
When you're playing Zen here, when you're playing Lucio here, okay, all I want you to do with Lucio is I want you to stay with the tanks.
Yeah,
you are to support the tanks. Okay,
I mean we've got one
you're not to flank. Yeah,
air person, so
yeah, you're not to flank. You're not to do that. You are to stay with the tanks, engage on what the tanks are engaging on, and use your speed boost to help get them out if they don't have the resources to disengage, or be that little extra healing until Mercy can fly in there, do her shit, and fly back to Pharah.
I do think Lucio probably may be what we should run, though.
No. Lucio is. I had a segue here. You guys kind of threw me out.
Yeah. But
my segue was CC comp.
Yeah.
That's option 2 for this map. This might look scary to people, and I'm not going to sit here for an hour and explain it. I'm going to give you a really quick, high-level idea of how this works. And this is one of the anti-goat comps.
Yeah.
If anybody doesn't know that. But you have your Reinhardt, you have Roadhog, Doomfist, Mei, Lucio, and Ana. Okay? All of them which have a way to disrupt a front line and to CC targets. So Ryan has charge, you've got hook, you've got punch, you've got fucking Mei walls and freeze, Lucio boop, Ana sleep. Okay? The idea with this one is basically when they push on the point, wall them off, and then you have two options, right? Ryan can charge the target into the wall, or Doomfist can punch the target into the wall, or you can do both.
Right.
And they insta-die, right? If you then take high...
This is really good for this map, actually. I think this would be amazing for this.
If you then take high ground, which Ana would be on high ground, or depending on which way they push...
Could you show me where you would want the Ana specifically? I just
want so let's say let me just pretend Ryan is an enemy team. Okay, enemy team. Let's say we'll just say main. Most people push main.
Okay.
So you have your front line, right? So Mei, Doom can be on a flank. It really depends on Doom, but we'll just put Doom here. Okay. Mm-hmm. You've got Hog, you've got Lucio, you've got Ana. Ana always wants to be at range.
Right.
Absolutely. Ana always wants to be at range, so you could be here. You could be high ground here on this corner, shooting down on them, assuming that the team is, say, on this side. If we're on this side, you're going to maybe want to be on this side or maybe here or whatever. But
there's always a way to be up there and have side.
Yeah, for sure.
It's no problem. I just wanted to make sure you wanted to be on that high ground rather than, like, say, for example, room.
I mean, any of these is fine. It just depends on when the enemy team starts to rotate, you start to rotate. You don't want to stay here, they rotate, and then they pop you, right?
Right.
So again, that comes back to knowing how to play a healer, knowing positioning on that healer, et cetera, which is stuff for the coaches, not necessarily for this.
Yeah, I don't recommend her being there, though.
Yeah, but you're basically want to, I would say either here, or here, depending on where the team is, right?
Okay, that makes sense.
But the idea with this is, say they push in, right? Mei comes in, Mei says, you know what? I got you, dude. Wall, right? here comes Doomfist. Doomfist would probably want to stay high ground, so he gets the free drop charge. But drop charge in, fucking do some damage, pop, boom. Or you have Reinhardt, boom, charge right into it, right? The whole time you've got Mei freezing him, you could have Ana sleep him, whatever the case may be, doesn't matter.
The Hog just chipping at him.
Yeah, doesn't matter. You know, if you don't finish him off, or if you're worried you're going to finish him off before, or you're not going to finish him off before the fucking wall drops, hook his ass, bring him into your team, collapse on him, set up your front line again, and do it all over.
Right.
It's that simple. It's simple in theory. It's hard to pull off because it takes a lot of coordination and communication.
But we can do it.
But that's where it comes to just getting practice.
We just can't play it twice and give up on it. We gotta actually give it some
time. This comp, just so you guys know where it came from, I linked it in chat at some point in case you guys didn't see it. But came from one of Jane's theory crafting streams where he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna try some things against Goats comp and see what works," and this fucked it every time.
Yeah, everyone should watch that if they haven't.
Anything that's not dive, right? Like dive, I think would be pretty good against this. Really good against this, actually.
Yeah.
But anything that's slow moving, like standard Goats comp, quad tank, something like that, this will fucking wreck it if you play it right.
Because every single person here can hurt people grouped together.
Yep.
Very badly.
Yep. So this was the thing I was going to go into, but I kind of got derailed. I was going to say, so if you notice, Zen is out of position here and easily, fucked. So blah 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 blah. And I was going to say I have an answer for that, and that was going to be this, but you got away from me early. So, but yeah, I would at some point like to try this strategy. I just wanted to introduce it to you guys. We don't need to talk about it in length. I just wanted to introduce it and give you the abridged version of how it works and why it might be good, and then we can talk about it again later and try it out later.
Let's go ahead and move on to the last map.
Just a point of discussion to bring for this later is Roadhog versus D.Va. I think that would be an interesting point to discuss if we're going into this blind at the beginning of the round. D.Va might be better protecting Fiona. Yeah.
Well, you don't necessarily need,
but we'll see.
You don't necessarily need anybody to protect Ana because Ana has the ability to sleep the person jumping her.
Right.
Assuming your mechanics are good enough.
She's got to help.
Sure, that's just one way, and I don't want to get deep into that.
Yeah, the way the comp is designed is just so everybody has a CC and you can just collapse on somebody and literally leave them no way to play the game for like
D.Va would be nice
7 seconds or whatever.
Having Roadhog for the shield break if they are running goats. Like when they're first coming in, you can just spam the crap out of his shield.
Yeah, I would. I don't want to get too deep into this, but
I'm just saying. But I think that shield break will be needed for Earth Shatters
just as well.
I think just because it's a cooldown rather than ammo.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's something we could discuss later if we want to try and run this comp.
Yeah, I mean, there's always trying.
That's just something
you can always run it with the hog, and if it doesn't seem to be working that well.
That's the primary thing I'm looking at.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to the last map, though. While we got
again to recap, if we do the Pharah, et cetera, there. Same with the first map. We take high ground. We look for the dive poke. We set up our EPS so they can do something, and then we capitalize on that. If we do the CC comp, you'll see how to do that later.
Yeah.
All right. So for this one, basically the comp, I had 2 comps set up for this, and it basically falls on the shoulders of, do you want to play Pharah or do you not want to play Pharah? So I'm going to put the 2 comps on screen, and then you guys can look. That's comp 1.
Yeah.
And let me find comp 2. I have it. Or did it get deleted? Looks like it got deleted. That sucks. Okay. Well, anyways, your Junkrat would be a Pharah, and your Ana would be a Mercy. And your Zen would be a Lucio. If you wanted to run a Pharah. Basically, these 3 would change. This would turn into a pharmacy. You could keep Zen. If you not feel comfortable on Zen, go Lucio. It doesn't matter. Because you're basically running a bunker comp.
Yeah.
But for this comp, let's just say we're using the one that I have here on the screen. Okay, no Pharah. So basically what you're going to do, you're going to push point. You're going to set up on point.
Wait, so you would replace Pharah and who else? Sorry, I just missed that.
So if you were going to do Pharah would replace the Junkrat. Mercy for Ana. And then Zen, you could keep Zen for Discord or change him to Lucio if you're worried you're going to get picked. You shouldn't get picked though, because this is a bunker comp, so everybody should be really close, right? Plus, you should have the McCree to peel for you to stun to finish off whoever's there.
You're holding distance, anyways.
Yeah.
Right. So basically, what we would do is you'd come up, basically set up on point. I like to pick a corner. I kind of prefer this corner because easily high ground is taken. You can be shot from there. At least if you're here, you've got shield up. You've got a retreat to fall back to for the health pack.
It's also a little bit of an easier flank. It's kind of a 50-50 in that main on.
Yeah. The other reason I like it is simply for that.
Yeah, trap that right side. Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, you would set up here. I wish they had like a thing for shield. You could put a shield thing up.
It's got like everything else. You think they'd have that?
Yeah. Yeah, they don't have the shield, man. They've got bongo. I could put a bongo here.
Yeah.
But anyways, so you're setting up, and basically this is going to be set up like such. I would say maybe like this corner, so you can shoot in. You could go inside if you wanted to. Inside might be a better idea. It kind of depends on
like
what
a Junkrat or something.
Yeah, it just depends on what they're running.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say to start.
I like starting out in the middle.
To start, I would start here because if they take high ground, you rotate. If they take the mini pack room, you rotate. It's you have options to rotate from here versus where their approach is.
More flexible.
Yeah, so I would start here. But anyways, these three are going to stay together. They're going to cover each other, right? Enemy team pushes in. You've got shield break. Let me put Hog over here. Sorry. So you've got Hog here. Yeah. What I would suggest, though, and this is what Hog needs to do for those off tanks of you, if Ryan is pushing in, right? Let's say Ryan and this whole team are pushing in. Where should Hog be in this comp? I'm going to put Hog right here in the middle. Where should Hog be? We're engaging Junkrat, shooting bombs straight on the Reinhardt. Arissa's shooting Reinhardt. McCree's doing his deal. Blah 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 blah.
Let's have the off tank answer.
I would be playing on that staircase.
Let's have the off tank. Let's have the off tanks answer.
Yeah, well, when I'm playing with Char, I'm playing Hog.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Quest is Hog.
Okay. Staircase is which direction?
Directly right of Orisa. That's what I meant. That tiny staircase.
Yeah.
Right here.
Right there.
That's what I feel. Yeah.
Okay. So right idea. Right. Damn it! I did not want to do that. So
assuming our team is currently engaged exactly where they are.
Yeah.
Yes. So Reinhardt's pushing in. All right. You're going to be here. You said right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I would like to do is I would like to propose that not Reinhardt, but Hog gets his flank on, channels his inner tracer. I want you to go here. I want you to hook this bitch out. Okay?
No shield. Yeah, there you go.
No shield. Okay? Even better is if you get the capability in a fight at any point. It's not going to be at the beginning. Definitely dump his ass inside the hole. But
yeah, definitely.
To start, if they're pushing main, get Hog to come around here and just yank his ass, right? Because if you yank him, that puts him in a shitty spot, right? Because now he can't cover his people. Okay? And we might get a pick from the Ana. Ana could fucking anti them. We could get the Discord, McCree on them. We've got the Junkrat spamming into them, et cetera, et cetera.
No
or we could collapse on him. We've got all this shot here. We've got this shot here. These guys will have sightline on them. We can collapse on them, depending on how we
kill it all.
Yep. Depending on how fast we can get everybody to recognize the hook. This is again a high level thing. Is hearing the hook go out and not needing to be told and just knowing you need to shoot the fucking target that's getting hooked.
Right.
So
I'm wondering. Well, I think it's you need to be prepped to listen to the hook noise. And as soon as that hook connect, like say whoever's playing, like if it's UQuest, as soon as that hook connects, you just gonna say "got him" or something like that. Because we're already primed to know to listen for the hook.
Now, what's the other way we could follow up on that to ensure that we have more time to fuck around?
You could hook into a trap.
I could sleep.
Or you could have McCree.
Boom.
Yeah, I was gonna say to sleep.
Sleep.
There. You can just sit there.
Sleep is the answer. Sleep is a perfect answer.
Yeah.
So you're pulling him in. You're pulling him in. He's sideways now. Well, the good thing with Hook is we know where you are, and it's predictable trajectory, right?
Yeah.
So you know where he's going to
end up. Yeah.
You sleep his ass. Right after the hook, you see the hook. Boom! You see the shot go off from the hog. Boom! You sleep him. Now he's on the ground, and through that 1.5 second animation of him getting off the ground because he's getting shot, getting off the ground, we have 1.5 additional seconds to burn him.
Right.
So you could do that, or
it's still a super tight timing.
It is, but
that's the idea. If you can pull it off, it's great.
Yeah.
No, it's still definitely a good use of that resource.
Yeah, definitely.
Not to mention, if we sleep him and anti him, then he can't be healed and he's fucked anyway.
Yeah. He's just
but so that's option A, or we pull them off to the side. Now their DPS, their backline, their healers, all that stuff's exposed, and maybe we get a cheeky pick there.
Yeah.
Let's say that we don't kill the Rhine. We get a cheeky pick back in the back line. Rhine's here. We definitely want to start pushing this, right? So Not Ana, Orisa, which would be Char.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Char.
Assuming it's Char.
You're set up here. Okay, we get a pick and we call to go aggressive. I want you to tell me where you're going to put your shield.
Right at the choke. That's where I would put it. Like in the
what's the choke?
This choke?
Yeah, that one, that wall.
I like it. That's exactly what you should do, right? So you're going to throw this thing. It's really going to be reliant on where their enemy team is. Let's just pretend the enemy team is choke. You want to throw that thing right in front of the enemy team.
Yeah, ideally if the healers are behind it, it'll cut off whoever's still inside.
Yep. So
you can angle it a little bit depending on where they're retreating. If we're going aggressive on a retreat, you can angle it so that you can step up a little bit and have a better sightline.
Yeah.
Yeah. Either way. Again, that's tank specific stuff for the coaches and you guys to discuss. But the idea is you want to immediately, by throwing that, you claim all the space.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay.
Like you claim all of that space. You move up. The whole time this Ryan is like hating his life, right? He's gonna die. So Ryan's dead.
I would still have Orisa holding a little bit more distance rather than hugging that shield. Maybe.
I don't understand what you mean.
So if Orisa shoots her shield up there, she might still want to hold a little bit more distance depending on what threats they still have.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be at
the
that's more of a tank specific thing.
Yeah, that's a tank coaching type thing, positional type thing. So
talk about that with like the coaches.
But so we push them back, we pick them off, we force them back, we team wipe them, whatever the fuck happens, who cares, right? All right. So next, Char, for you, where are you going to set up to be aggressive?
At the next door, like either staircase, left or right.
Okay. Would you rather do left or would you rather do right?
I think I would rather do right.
Okay, and how would you set up your shield? I'm gonna draw some shields for you. They're gonna be really crappy.
I'm gonna go to bed. I'm gonna watch this tomorrow. So it's good.
All right, dude.
Okay.
Yeah, we won't be doing too much longer. So
see you tomorrow, Kat.
See ya.
What's the red one? What's the blue one?
Those are shield placements. Those are your options. Which one's the right one?
Pink.
That's so
pick a shield, any shield.
I made it specific for you because you're a girl.
That's terrible. Blue.
No, it's not. No, come on.
Like,
why?
Pink. Pink is the right one.
That made me hate you more. Please don't do that. Don't give me
it was reversed.
Yeah.
Pink is the right one.
70 years ago.
Okay.
No, I said that because of the unicorn thing that was said in chat like forever ago.
Oh.
Sorry, I thought you were like I like pink and unicorns thing like my wife. My bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways.
Yeah. Put the shield back down.
Where did my green?
Don't make it pink.
No, it's gonna be green, dude. I'm all about the green, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, anyways, basically what you want to do is you want to angle the shield, and this is gonna be a really crappy drawing, but it's gonna be like where it's covering most of this way and it's covering some of this way. That way, no matter where they push, you have the ability to block damage. Okay. And if you need to retreat, you retreat out.
Yeah.
Out of many.
And if they're taking the right path, you can just kind of kind of corner back into your shield.
So angle it however you need to block off.
Yeah.
The side and the
well, no, you're saying if you keep it like that, even if they head over to the right side, then you can just come back if needed to, or just hug your shield.
Yeah, if you position that shield a little bit further back, you can just walk onto the other side of it.
Yeah, a lot of like the low level Orissas, they always put it forward. You don't have to put it forward.
Yeah,
you can angle it and use kind of, so
my only thing my only thing about this is I'd have to put my body there first in the middle before I can angle the shield that way.
Right, but if they're retreating, we're pushing forward. We're getting aggressive.
Yeah, this is if we just break them.
Okay.
Yeah, this is us getting aggressive. So at this point, what we need to do is Junkrat needs the trap somewhere in here. Okay.
So they can't go around.
Yeah. Whether they get caught in the trap or not, who cares? It's an early warning detection.
Yeah, just tells us, hey, back up.
Okay.
Yep. So Hog, I would say Hog would then flank through here, put pressure there. Junkrat's still in front, and these guys move up right there. And that's it. That's your aggressive
stance. You can do the exact same thing again, too. If the Ryan comes in, you could do the exact same thing again.
The problem with this is if he pulls Ryan here, they're not going to have any sight lines. They're going to have no sight lines on that.
But he's away from the team. So you can focus on the team.
Yes. I forgot the markers don't move with me.
Like I said, you can't sleep him and stuff this time, but you can do what we were talking about last time, where you can just like nade the team and stuff like that. Especially if they're trying to run like goats or something like that, which would be really weird. I don't know why, but if for some reason they're doing that. Really? I don't.
I mean, if they went goats, we would just take the high ground and just fucking pull them into the hole. Yeah, just take Orisa, pull them into the hole.
Yeah, I think we should do that anytime we're on point.
A couple of points about these flank. I don't like this current flank. I think it's way too long. If they push in quickly, I'm not really going to be able to get back from it very quickly. This is a very long flank.
Completely disagree with that, because she can halt them back and split the entire team back off you.
Right, and you also have the, I don't know.
You still got the sleep for Anna.
Yeah, we can be right in the middle, not so far up the mini. If we're all closer to this corner, then you can feel more secure pulling.
If you're right here, just poking out. Right, you're not poking when they're right here. Like if you're right here, you're wrong. You should be right here when they're right there. Right.
Yeah.
Like when you're right here, they're like here.
That's not the point. If they switch off to Lucio,
we're going specific again, man.
But no, if they're running Lucio or they're running anything where they can come in fast straight through towards where Arisa's positioning, it's gonna be a lot harder for me to get back.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I disagree. You would be able to grab a healer in the back line and insta-kill them, and then they're surrounded.
To Arisa, you can just shoot them in the back.
I don't think you can really play Hog.
Really, I go on flanks with them all the time.
I think that
with
there's
the current iteration, it's really hard.
I don't think so, man.
I
think it's easier. It's way easier.
Okay,
I guess
because you're mobile and you're using to take a breather.
The ability for Roadhog to kill with the hook combo is primarily based off of RNG, given most of.
But you still have all that pepper.
Yeah, you still have. You'll be behind them. Then you have to make them make a choice: turn around and hit you, or keep going on their, aggressive push.
Right, and that is a lot of value.
Because Anna has sightlines on you if you go behind them.
Basically, if they're throwing everything into a forward push, and you're suddenly behind them, and you cause that forward momentum to break or to scatter, that's a tremendous amount of value.
They're going to break apart. Even if you were to die there, they're going to break apart, and we're probably going to get a few picks off them trying to turn. Because as soon as they turn around and try to kill you, Junks is just going to be spamming into them.
I mean, the first thing that will do, if that Rhine turns the shield to face you, boom, anti-nade.
Exactly.
And then Junkrat is destroyed. So there's plenty. I think that flank is effective. I think Roadhog does have lots of potential to flank. And I think that even if it does get a position where you are cut off and you end up behind them, I think that's an advantageous position too if we play it right.
Right, because you can just spam into the back. And like I said, if they turn around, Anna can sleep them, nade them, all kinds of stuff.
I mean, if they're running a Lucio and they get behind, and you're behind them, and you hook and kill their Lucio,
then they've just lost a lot right there.
They're done.
Yeah. They've lost their speed. Yeah.
They can't get out. They can't.
And like I said, Anna's got sight
I just don't
line.
like the numbers. I don't like the numbers on that. On that giving a big positive. I have to hit I'm less RNG.
Well, I guess my thing is one of the most a really powerful thing to do is to cause a pincer. Is to put pressure on multiple sides because shields can only protect you from so much.
I think what it does, and it's similar to the Winston thing, is it gets them going, okay, we're moving forward, okay, we're moving forward, okay, we're going rest. Oh crap, there's a hog. It sows discord, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, exactly. As soon as they have to worry about multiple sight lines,
they aren't worried about their game plan anymore. They're worried about, oh shit, what do we do with this hog? Do we engage the hog? Wait a minute, oh, he's already engaging the hog. Oh shit, what are we doing? And it's all madness, and it turns chaos.
Because think about it.
That's what we
want. You're thinking mostly goats is probably what they would do that with, right? Well, the main thing we've got to do is make them divert their shield one way or another. And if you're behind them, you've just done that because they have to pick a direction.
You know, I remember during tryout, I think it was trials, maybe it was during one of our first scrims, we tried running goats into a Junkrat Orisa, and it did not go well.
No, it wouldn't. Yeah, it wouldn't go well. Because like I said, they turn around to face you to kill you, Junkrat's just going to eat them up.
It's sort of similar to Sombra. Generally, you either have to ignore the Sombra and let her eat you alive, or you have to devote resources to deal with her, and then you're split.
Yeah, because think about it. You're not
the other thing is let's say they are running goats.
Or anything that's grouped up together. You have a shotgun.
Let's say they're running goats. This is an easy one. Watch this.
Well, no, I'm just saying, it's just really it works for anything where they're grouped.
Hey, look, goats, guys. Let's say they're running goats.
Yeah.
Okay, here they're running goats, and they push on you. Let's get Ryan out of here. And they push on you. Okay. If you should have the game sense and you should have the perception to see that they're pushing on you. Okay.
Yeah.
If they push on you, you fall back. And they're pushing on you through here.
And they're going to go into a room where Junkrat.
They're basically going to have to deal with a Junkrat spamming a tiny little fucking room,
right?
While you pull back here.
Not to mention, we'll have a new shield,
right?
Blocking that door.
These guys pull back corner, right? These guys pull back corner.
That
reposition shield. Okay. You could even reposition shield forward so it covers everybody. You could pull it like right here, right?
And when they walk out of there, what do you think that Reinhardt's going to be putting the shield up?
Well, the interesting thing is they have to make a decision, right? They have to decide. I'm going to move the Junkrat trap. Pretend it's still there. They have to decide they're going to push this way or they're going to push this way. Now, if they push this way, you hook one of the opportune targets, and preferably the Moira or the Lucio, the Brigitte, whatever you want to do. Hook her, beat the shit out of her, sleep her, stun her with McCree, whatever you want to do.
Whatever, kill her.
You're going to die. Yeah. Okay. But you're gonna do that. If they push this way, right? You guys literally are just gonna have to fall back,
and you make it a pincer.
And plus we can.
And then they're gonna pull back here, and then we're gonna be shooting them into a tiny room.
No matter what, you're pretty much trapping them in a tiny room.
Yes. Yeah. So for having the hog here on a flank, I think is a very, very smart positioning decision.
Yeah, because if they chase you down, that's just giving us a better advantage.
Yeah.
If they push straight into the Orisa.
I'm worried about them chasing me down.
Yeah, but like you still have goats. They have to look at they have to be looking at you to go into your direction. So you're gonna know they're coming to you.
Yeah, you know where they're when they're coming to you, and you still have the health there.
He's worried that they're gonna push right into the Orisa, right down mid.
Where's they're gonna push right?
Right. So if they
and then you go behind.
If they push into Uchar, okay, again, that's one of the decisions you as the main tank, especially on Orisa, have to make, right? So Orisa doesn't want to brawl. Orisa wants to be at range. So you need to decide when if they cross this line, I'm making a decision type thing is like you're gonna have to decide where that line is, and then you're gonna have to call, hey, I'm repositioning the point, I'm pulling the point, pull point, and then you set up, right? You're going to have to make that decision. That's something that as the main tank, you have to be able to fill that out and just shot call that.
Well, and keep in mind, you're going to have
Because they shouldn't be able just to walk up to you for free and say, "Hi, Orisa, you're dead," right? You've got a Junkrat, you've got a McCree, you've got a Zenyatta discording, you've got a Hog on the flank. Like, they should have to hurt.
Well, and if they truly do push right up into you, you've got Anna can just nade the area.
Or you can halt them to jerk them back and buy you some time.
Well, I mean, because if they're going to collapse on you like that, Ryan's probably going to put his shield down to swing on you.
I mean, even then, let's talk, instead of linear, let's talk dimensionally.
Right.
Even then, let's say Char, you know what? Like, you're just in a shit for shit situation and you're gonna die. Okay?
Yeah.
Let's just say you're gonna die. They push in and you're gonna die, and you've got, you end up dying, we get some of their picks, and then we collapse on them from 3 different angles and we just clean them up. Right?
You need to be the first one to die there if anyone's going to die anyway.
You're going to get back before they're going to regroup and deal with it. Like, they're going to be staggered a little bit because we can't shoot everything and kill everything at the same time. Like, they're going to be staggered, whatever the case may be. You'll get back before then. Sometimes it is okay for you to die on the tank to secure the win, to secure the fight.
Because as long as we get a few picks there, then we're going to be able to hold them off.
Yeah.
Or at least until you get back.
Yeah. So I don't think. I think you run with this strategy and just see how it works. I mean, again, you could sit here for hours and come up with different comps
and think about it this way.
Throw at you. But
if we're completely wrong, you get to rub our noses in. I mean, you might run it in one scrim and find out it's terrible against one comp, and then you run it in a different scrim and find out it's really effective. You know, I mean, and then you know what it's a good against and what it's not. So,
but the idea with this strategy is you've got the capability to bunker, you've got the capability to environmental, so to speak, right? Whether it's in the hole in the point or off the side towards the high ground. You've got the long range to deal with, say, a Pharah. You've got between the Discord, the McCree, and the Ana all focusing a Pharah, she's dead. And if they have a pharmacy, you focus the Mercy and she's dead, and then you focus the Pharah. If they're running any kind of ground-based comp like standard, you're going to win the shield break war. That's a given, unless they're mirroring your comp. You win the shield break war, and then you just go ham on the front line, and they snowball from there. It gives you a lot of opportunity to respond to things that you may not know is coming at you, right? Most players on this map are going to run a Junkrat, they're going to run a Pharah. If they run Dive, they're going to run a Genji, they're going to run a Tracer. Like, this comp will deal with all of that as long as you play it properly and you know your strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah. I like this. I really like this comp.
Yeah, I do too. And it gives me motivation to just keep practicing my Ana.
Yeah.
What was the situation where we set up high ground on the left?
Oh, I was saying, if they did anything that we were worried we didn't want to brawl with ish, like we weren't like goats or something, then you could reposition high ground.
Oh, okay.
Make them have to come up too.
Okay.
I would reposition. I would start here. Let's see. I would start, let's say they're pushing. I left the Reinhardt. Let's say they're pushing from this direction. They go to point. I would set up the Roadhog here and set up the McCree here. Ana here, so Ana can shoot down to point. She can cover McCree. She can kill basically everyone. Yeah. And she's far away from their immediate line of approach.
Right.
If they do swing this way, you reposition. But whichever way they come up, you just halt the whole fucking team off.
Right.
To contest the point, you would need to win the shield break war, which the good thing is with goats, you can't heal fucking shields, so the shield will die.
Right.
And once you get the shield dead, you've got Junkrat spam, you've got long range,
and halt.
Discord.
You can just halt them into the.
You've got halt, hook. You've got a lot of opportunities. So if you're patient and you don't freak out, let them have early percentage, and then you win the team fight, and then you reset up.
Right. Yeah, because if you aim to halt over the hole, you can hook a target up there, but if you happen to miss, who cares? It's falling down into the hole anyway. Either way, you win because you're taking them off the point, or you're hooking them up to kill them.
Okay. Once you get the Reinhardt off the field for Goats comp, once you get the Reinhardt off the field, it's pretty much a done deal. You just need to clean up everyone else.
He's what protects them. So
So if they did run goats, if we saw they were running goats, I mean, this is something that you can't. You would have to decide: am I going to set up high ground because I think they're running goats, or am I going to set up standard like we discussed earlier because I think they're not? Okay. You can't do both. You're going to have to pick one and then just take the gamble and hope you're right.
Okay.
So.
I like it though.
I like it.
I think it'd be a good place to end off.
Good talk.
Good bit over.
All right, cool. Any questions before we jump out?
Matt, DM Vitamin and I the word banana.
Oh no, we're not gonna worry about that. We're not gonna worry about that. Never mind. It'll be obvious if he doesn't. it'll be clear, but it will be expected that if you guys aren't here, you got to watch this. Yeah, and if you don't watch it, we're gonna be able to know.
Also, if you haven't watched the along that line of thinking, if you haven't watched the King's Row video, please go back and watch the King's Row video.
Yes, it's required. Please do it. Also, we're going to start doing self-fraud reviews. We were thinking about weekly. K-Bear suggested that we do every 2 weeks. But basically, what you'll be wanting to do is find a VOD, review it yourself, make notes on it, put them in a simple text document. If it's on Twitch, you can just type it into the chat because it posted on the time codes.
You do it in comments on YouTube as well.
Yeah, comments on YouTube. Anyway, any way that you can put your comments out there, whether it's a text file, on the Twitch chat, on YouTube comments, whatever. You basically make your notes on what you could have done better, why you died, what you should have been doing, stuff like that. Just review it yourself, and then send the link to either Weege or I. That way we can look over it and know what progress is being made and stuff like that. And it's kind of verification.
Okie
dokie. But once every 2 weeks you should be doing that. And we'll remind you. But also don't forget you need to start you guys need to look into starting getting another VOD reviewed by Coach soon.
Right.
When you guys signed up for the team, you agreed that you would get one done at least every 2-3 weeks.
We missed scrims this weekend, so is that
right?
Fine?
No, I mean that's what I'm saying. So look into the next week or so, getting scheduling, and remember, schedule it with the coach, put it on the calendar, because I'm going to start recording them so that you can go back and watch them later, or other people can watch them, or anything like that, so anyone can get the experience from it if they want to, or if you just want to go back because you missed a few notes or something like that. So I'll be putting this in chat and stuff like that. Just go ahead and keep that in mind. And you will be expected to do these things.
Okay.
With that said, if any of you guys are if you feel unable or incapable of reviewing your own stuff and looking at it critically, and you need help with how to do that, let me know.
K-Bears will help you too. Hayate and K-Bears, either one, they'll help you.
I just wanted to suggest something for the next map review.
Yeah, sure.
I think when you do maps, maybe also we should review how to retake a point, because I think especially for Cindy Center here in Oasis, once we lose the first point, we don't know how to take it back usually.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So
that's fair.
I think
retakes would probably be a good idea.
What we can do is,
but retakes are also good.
What we can do is
the problem
next week, if you guys want to continue with Oasis, I can set it up for that. I think it'll be too much information to talk through if we do both.
Yeah.
How to set up, how to respond to being aggressive, how to do the retake.
Retakes would be good to do, but retakes.
But we can do it in chapters or sessions if you want to do that. Yeah. Like this week we do that, next week we do the retake, or we can do that if that's what you guys want to do.
Or instead we could do.
I have a feeling those are going to be kind of intensive because retakes are going to be all about what they're running, and what's
what ults are available, all that.
Exactly. I mean, you can do a general idea of let's do this, but
we can just run different main scenarios, like what are main things that will probably be running, that we can discuss how we would take that.
I kind of want to see if the next time we do a scrim, we can just take the worst map from that one and just
keep in mind we're playing Oasis tomorrow.
Yeah, the reason why
it's happening one way or another. We're playing Oasis.
Okay.
We're gonna try these things.
The reason we picked King's Row defense was we had that scrim where we felt like we really did well on the offense, but our defense, really especially point A, was we got rolled. So what we wanted to do was figure out, let's focus on our defense so that map becomes one of our strong maps.
Right.
And so I think we're going to be trying these out. That quick player scrim or whatever we did where we didn't have full strengths, but we tried it anyways.
Yeah.
You remember that? I think that went really well for what we had. Yeah, for us not having a full team. I think that went really well, especially for us trying it the first time. I think
for the first time, I thought it went pretty well.
I agree.
I mean, we got unlucky. Something happened. It caused our Junkrat to get down from point. It happens.
That's going to happen, yeah.
But I thought it went pretty well for the first time.
Agreed.
So we're going to do this tomorrow. We're going to play Oasis, and we're going to try each of these out. Or at least one of these, at least one of these comps that we've suggested on each of these maps we're going to do.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely think if you guys, for the captains, if you decide you want to try the CC comp with Doomfist, May, etc. on
I'm willing to
Gardens,
do that, but everyone needs to watch that video.
Well, I was going to say, if you want to do that, I say when we do warm up and quick play,
we need to practice.
We practice, even if it's not a map suitable for it. We just practice the communication.
Of CCing people.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We can do that. But yeah, we're going to be trying these things out tomorrow. We're going to be trying these strategies out tomorrow, so we can see immediately what we need to work on and immediately what may not work.
Okay, that sounds good.
That means you on. Sorry to interrupt. Hayate, that means you on May and me on Doomfist, correct?
Oh, you know it, brother. You got your Doomfist, man. You can keep it.
Yeah, been practicing with them too.
So. Yeah, you can keep it. Doomfist is not my friend.
But really good job, everyone. Really good job.
Yep.
I thought it went pretty productive tonight.
No, thank you everybody for contributing and everybody for speaking your mind and giving ideas. This has to be something that everybody feels strongly
everyone needs to try
about.
To be here. Yeah.
We need buy-in from everybody on these strategies because it's the only way they're going to work. Right. So I really appreciate everybody chipping in and giving their 2 cents and asking questions and everything like that. And all I would ask is that we keep doing that. We keep asking questions. We keep, making suggestions so that this isn't just one person's strat. This is all of our strat.
Yeah. That appreciation comes with the price, though. It may sound nitpicky, but say tomorrow, Mark wants to throw, he wants to try to throw his 2 cents on every single thing we're doing as we're trying to set it up. That's not going to fly, because he should have been here if he wanted to be able to do that.
Yeah, what we need is that when the majority of the team gets together and they all put in the time and the effort to get to something, then we owe it to the people that invested that time and effort
to trust that we talked it through,
to try it out, to refine it, and like we said, it's not set in stone. Suggestions and stuff like that will be fine. You know, when we're in the evaluation period, saying, okay, we're decompressing
what worked, what didn't work. Right. You can't do it while we're doing it.
Yeah,
you got to just go with it and see how it works, and then evaluate it later. Just trust that we talked it through is what I'm saying.
Right, just trust.
Because it's just going to just distract us and slow us down to be questioning things as we're trying to set up.
Oh, I was going to say, big thanks to Hayate for watching all of the videos.
Yes, thank you.
Because
no problem, dude.
I can't watch them.
No, I really enjoy doing this stuff. I've done it for years in other games. And I like doing it.
You need to have a Nick for combing through this stuff and organizing it. So
yeah, I can't. I don't have time.
And plus, the other cool thing with this program, if you, I was
gonna say, and you have this program.
If you guys end up picking up this program at some point,
I will.
It has you can literally show all the call outs, and it has what people call.
Oh,
me and Weeds are gonna be going through that soon.
Yeah.
We're going to invite anybody that when we do go through it, we're going to do the same thing right here, like screen share.
Yeah.
And we're going to invite anyone to come in.
Going over a vocabulary so that
most of it's already going to be predetermined. But some things may not work for the team. We may be like, I don't really like that.
This makes more sense to all of us. So that we can stop doing, he's over at the thing in the front by the side.
Exactly. We need to work on that. But just to be fair, we're going to be doing it, but we want anyone that wants to be there to be involved.
Yeah,
what I'll probably do, guys, next week is if we're let's assume we're going over Oasis, how to retake, whatever the case may be.
Yeah,
we're gonna put these on screen, and I'm gonna refer to them by their names on the screen.
That would be great.
I think that for going forward for map reviews and strats, I think having the things there.
Yeah, because most of the stuff we're not gonna change because there's no reason to.
Yeah, like we can say that.
But I know I was looking through like the resource that I think someone had put in the chat when we first were.
Yeah, that link that I put there. Yeah. I verified that everything. Well, at least with like 4 of the maps, and then I stopped because I figured it was concurrent. But the 4 maps I checked when I cross-referenced that with the ones on here were identical. So the names on Stat Banana were the exact same on that site.
But I remember there was just 1 or 2 things on some maps that I was like, "Why do you call it that?" It just seems like it'd be easier to call it something else. But we can just go through and make sure that everyone's comfortable
as we're
with
doing
it.
like.
And just everyone knows it.
Yeah, as we're doing future map reviews, we can go, okay, so we're going to have Roadhog in Connector.
Right, and people will know what that means. The rest of us are in
Main, and some of us are in Dark. And that way, as we're going over the strat, we're, etching those words and those locations into people's memories.
Well, we need to use the same terminology. Like in this case, when you say Connector, we need to make sure to have a term that references theirs or ours. And it can be theirs or ours. That's fine. But we just need to use similar terminology so that everyone can read fast.
Front connector, back connector, white connector, black connector, red, blue. It doesn't matter. Well, all that matters is that everybody knows what that is.
Right. So we're going to be doing that soon, and we'll let you know in advance, and anyone that wants to be there to be there.
Oh, I wish you could have like a map in the game, and you're looking at it, and then you look up.
That would be cool, actually.
Like one of those 3D apartment tours.
I think I can.
Minecraft.
You mean like in the game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she means like when you go in, you can press tab and a map comes up, like while you're in game.
Let me. I just want to make sure everybody knows and you guys should be able to see it on my screen. But
yeah, this was really helpful.
This is
it's the first.
This is the one I was talking
about. It's the first pin in game discussions. If anyone.
Yeah, K-Bears has this pinned.
It's in there. Yeah, it's pinned in there.
Yeah, and if you go to Oasis and you look at it, you see it says Dark, Main, Gate, Point, Mega.
And like I said, all this. I'll just be screen sharing this.
It's the exact same thing that's on here. Dark, Main, Gate, Connector. It's the exact same thing.
I like that it's color coded though on there.
Yeah.
So I'll just probably screen share that.
So whatever you guys want to use.
I'll probably use this.
Yeah. This is a really good resource.
Right. I just like that it's color coded. That way you know exactly where all we're talking about.
Where it starts and where it ends.
Right. Yep. So I'll probably just be screen sharing this like you're doing right now, and then we'll just go through it and decide, okay, that's obviously good, that's obviously good, that's obviously good. And then like, hey, maybe we should tweak that. Or
Sounds
hey,
good to me.
We know we can just go over terminology, make sure everyone's on the same.
Right. Yeah.
And is teachery or cheesy as it sounds, I will probably make blank maps, and if you want to, you can practice by filling them in.
I would love that.
I figured some people might like that. Yeah. I'm not going to make it a quiz. I'm not going to.
What Char's going to be doing at work for 4 hours.
So I'm not going to make you do it or anything, but I will do that for you guys. I will make blank maps that you can try to go in and fill, or like.
I'm going to do it because I know that will help me learn them.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I can make them where like it's blank until you click on it. That way you can try to say what it is beforehand and then click it, and then it tells you.
Oh.
So I can probably set something like that up. But thank you. That was very helpful.
That's fun. That's good.
Thanks everybody for coming. We really appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my parents.
Sounds good.
They're really sad.
Good job, guys.
All right. Get a good night's rest, and we'll see you guys at Scrims tomorrow.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
See you tomorrow.
See you
Take it easy,
tomorrow.
guys.